Welcome to the Blue Dragon Guild, a channel all about 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. I'm Baron.
And I'm Mackenzie.
In today's episode, we are going to be doing a overview of the Cleric class, so let's get started. The Cleric class is the Holy Warrior, the Healer, sometimes even the Trickster kind. There's a lot of different ways that you can build your Cleric, and we're going to go over a handful of those today. There are, I think we counted 12. I think we counted about 12 domains. I'm sure we're missing some. We're each going to go over 3 that we really like. But first off, we're going to go over the core abilities of the Cleric.
Cleric, their proficiencies come with light, medium armor, and shields. Simple weapons, their saving throws are charisma and wisdom, and then you can choose from 2 different skills that you wish to have. Obviously, every class has their starting pack.
Mm-hmm.
They use their spell DC save to use 8 plus proficiency bonus plus their wisdom modifier. Same thing with their attack, minus the 8 stated, just proficiency and wisdom modifier. They can do ritual casting as well as regular casting.
Yep.
At second level, clerics gain the channel divinity. At that, you gain 1 ability to choose a channel divinity energy directly from your deity, using that energy to fuel your magic. You start with 2 such effects: turn undead, which we'll go over in a minute, and the effects that are determined by your domain. So basically, what do you pick from is the Trickster, the Light, Life, Tempest, the ones that we're going to talk about later. It'll give you that addition based on the one that you've chosen.
Yep. The big thing with this is the turn undead, though. That's like the iconic cleric move.
As an action, you present your holy symbol, and you speak a prayer to the undead. Each undead that you can hear or see within 30 feet must make a wisdom save. If the creature fails its saving throw, it turns its turn for 1 minute or until it takes any damage. A turn creature must spend its turn trying to move as far away from you as it possibly can. Basically, it also can't take reactions. For its action, it can use only the dash action to try to escape from the effect that prevents it from moving. If there's nowhere to move, the creature can use the dodge action.
At 5th level, your turn undead gets a little bit of a boost with Destroy Undead. When an undead fails its saving throw against your turn undead feature, the creature is instantly destroyed if its challenge rating is at or below a certain threshold, as shown on the Destroy Undead table. This really plays into that iconic image of, you walk in the old graveyard, all the ghouls, the zombies, the skeletons start to rise from their graves. The cleric steps up, smites them, destroys them all. Cinematic. It's a really it's a really cool like cinematic device that you as a DM can describe to your players, like, oh, your cleric, he steps up, casts his or does his turn undead. You see all the zombies start to glow with a white light and immediately just sizzle away into nothing.
The other thing I saw with the turn undead, destroy undead, I was looking at where at 5th level it can destroy half or lower, and then that builds up as it goes till it gets to 17 or 4 or lower, and it just wipes out all of them that are that.
Yeah,
at first I thought it was adding up to it. Yeah. So that one's pretty neat. I don't know enough about monsters that are undead to know where at, if it's, CR 4, how great of a creature that is. But I mean, I guess if there's a lot of them, because, sometimes you don't just say, hey, here's a CR 18 because you guys are 18. It's like, well, there's like 6 level 4s. So it might actually work out.
And then starting at 10th level, you get the ability Divine Intervention. At 10th level, you can call on your deity to intervene on your behalf when your need is great. Employing your deity's aid requires you to use Employing your deity's aid requires you to use your action. You describe the assistance you need, and you roll percentile dice. If you roll a number equal to or lower than your cleric level, your deity intervenes. The DM chooses the nature of the intervention and the effect of any cleric spell or domain spell that would be appropriate. If your deity does intervene, you can't use this feature again for 7 days. Otherwise, you can use it again after you finish a long rest. And once you reach 20th level, the intervention succeeds automatically with no roll required.
That's
So
pretty cool.
this is one of those abilities that gives the DM a little bit of leeway to kind of like add a little more into the story of your character and how they develop.
What's crazy is it's if it's lower than what your level is. So if you're level 4 and you try, you only have 1, 2, 3, and 4 that you can roll, and that's it. So this actually gets better as you get more higher level.
Well, you can't use it at level 4, only at level 10 and up, but
Yeah.
I like where your thought process
Yeah,
is.
okay, I'm thinking there.
Yeah.
As a cleric, when you very first start, you choose your divine domain. As we talked, there are a lot. There's knowledge, life, light, nature, tempest, trickster, war. Those are just the ones in the player's handbook. Each domain is detailed at the end of the class description. For each one provided, example, the god's assistance within, you choose, your choice grants you the domain spells and other features as they go on past level 1. The first one that I had chosen was the life domain. At first level, you gain bless and cure wounds, added to basically your spells that don't count against which ones you select, but you can use them.
Mhm.
Bonus proficiency, when you choose this domain at first level, you gain proficiency with heavy armor,
That's
something that
cool.
they don't have. So, it can basically help their AC a lot. Then you get Disciple of Life. Also starting at first level, your healing spells are more effective. Whenever you use a spell of first level or higher, you restore hit points to a creature, regains additional hit points equal to 2 plus your spell's level.
That's
So it's
fun.
basically you can heal them up a little bit more, which is, the main cleric thing or something most people would say
Yeah.
cleric does.
Yeah.
You get Channel Divinity at level 2. As an action, you present your holy symbol and invoke healing energy that can be restored a number of hit points equal to 5 times your cleric level. Just boom, there
Hmm.
it is. Choose any creature within 30 feet of you in the divinity, and divide those hit points among them. So you don't even have to give them just to one person.
That's cool.
If your whole team's like laying down, you can just be like, okay, 1, 4, all right, we're good.
Yeah.
Just you're at level 5. This feature can restore creatures to no more than half of its maximum hit points. Uh, Never mind. Okay, you can't use this feature on an undead or a construct. So sorry, Warforged.
Nope, you can use it on Warforged. They're not a construct.
Oh, perfect, Warforged. Sorry, golems. At level 6, you gain Blessed Healer. That means whenever you heal someone else in your party, it also heals yourself.
Hmm.
When you cast a spell of first level or higher that restores hit points to a creature other than you regain hit points equal to 2 plus the spell level.
I like that. That's kind of, for all you World of Warcraft players, it's kind of like the Paladin's beacon of light, beacon of hope. I don't remember what it's called. I don't play Holy Paladin, but it's cool because it's like, well, if I die, the chances of everybody else dying is increased
Right,
more, since
right.
the whole life domain is about preserving life. So.
If you're playing true cleric, I mean it's heal and get some damage when you can.
Mhm.
So its 8th level is Divine Strike. You gain the ability to infuse your weapon's strike with the divine energy. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can cause the attack to deal 1d8 radiant
Mm,
damage to the target. And when you reach 14, it's 2d8.
that's pretty good.
And, so if you're hitting undead, radiant damage normally does more to them. So it'll even, boost on top of that.
Yeah.
And then their last one is Supreme Healing. Starting at level 17, when you would normally roll 1 or more dice to restore hit points with a spell, you instead use the highest number possible for each die. For instance, instead of rolling 2d6 hit points to a creature, you just restore 12.
I like it.
So it's just max every time.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That is really good. And that's at 17, so.
The first domain that I have picked is the Tempest domain. If you kind of want to think about like something from like modern media to kind of think about this, Thor from the Avengers. He's a Tempest cleric. If you take into account like all his like lightning abilities and all of that. Starting off, you get your domain spells. First level, you get Fog Cloud and Thunder Wave. At third level, you get Gust of Wind and Shatter. Fifth, Call Lightning and Sleet Storm. Seventh, Control Water and Ice Storm. And then ninth, there is Destructive Wave and Insect Plague. And as with the Life Cleric, you get a bonus proficiency of Heavy Armor, and you also gain proficiency with Martial Weapons. Their ability they get at level 1 is Wrath of the Storm. First level, you can thunderously rebuke attackers. When a creature within 5 feet of you that you can see hits you with an attack, you can use your reaction to cause the creature to make a dexterity saving throw. The creature takes 2d8 lightning or thunder damage, your choice, on a failed save and half as much on a successful one. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses on a long rest. This is kind of the opposite of the Life Cleric, because this one is a damage dealing like spell blaster kind of, not really spell blaster, but it gives you some like manipulation kind of things, because you get Fog Cloud, you can reduce everybody's visibility, and Thunder Wave, you can blast people away from you. And then this Wrath of the Storm, I mean, if you got people coming up on you and attacking you, that's just more damage that you can use to whittle them down.
That early to be like, okay, it takes 2d8 lightning or thunder, or still half. I mean, I always like it when it has the, it's not just hit or miss. It's, well, you still get something.
Yeah. And like most cantrips, it's hit or miss on the saving throw kind of things. So this is really cool to do that. And it does have a limit with your wisdom modifier, but if you roll really good and you got an 18 and you choose a class that bumps the wisdom, that's 5 uses you have of it per day. So it's cool. I like it. At second level, they get their Channel Divinity, Destructive Wrath. You can use your Channel Divinity to wield the power of the storm with unchecked ferocity. When you roll lightning or thunder damage, you can use your Channel Divinity to deal maximum damage instead of rolling. Your Channel Divinities are limited, but if you are going up against the boss, you're in the boss fight. I mean, if it's not undead, burn all of them, take him down. I mean, it's
gotta serve a purpose.
Yeah. At 6th level, you get Thunderbolt Strike. When you deal lightning damage to a large or smaller creature, you can also push them up to 10 feet away from you.
The cool thing with that, because it says, as long as you deal damage to them. Well, if you did Wrath of the Storm, even if it misses, or they pass, rather, they're still going to take damage. So you can just be like, okay, also push them.
Yeah, push them away from you.
It always just becomes, hey, now it's going to be, they're going to take half, and they're always going to get pushed no matter what.
Yeah. At 8th level, the Tempest Cleric gets their version of the Divine Strike. You gain the ability to infuse your strikes with divine energy. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can cause the attack to deal an extra 1d8 thunder damage to the target. When you reach 14th level, this increases to 2d8. Same with the life domain. It's just something like when the instance comes up that you're in melee combat, gives you a little extra edge on top of what you can already do with spells, your Wrath of the Storm. So it really helps to kind of like fill in some of the little gaps that you would have, with melee. And finally, at 17th level, you get the Stormborn ability. You have a flying speed equal to your current walking speed whenever you are not underground or indoors. This really brings in that Thor mindset of,
Yeah.
being able to swing your hammer and take off. But as we've learned with Tommy and his boots of flying in any game just really makes things more interesting for everybody, I feel,
Yeah.
because it gives the DM the challenge of overcoming the flying, and it gives the player the challenge of, all right, what can I do with this flying?
Yeah. That's, I mean, that is a pretty good analysis of it being Thor, because more and more you read, I'm like, yeah, he can
Yeah,
do that. Yeah, he
yeah,
can do that too. I mean, I've never seen Thor heal anybody ever, but it's like, well, that's not the way this is one's fighting anyway.
yeah. And at the end of the day, it is a cleric, so I mean, you will have access to those healing spells, but there's nothing ever saying that you have to do that. It's
Right.
nice, but if
I
you
mean, you could use all your spell slots for more lightning damage,
yeah,
thunderclap, whatever,
yeah,
it don't matter.
yeah.
The other cleric domain I selected was from Zenithar's Guide to Everything. It's the Forge domain. Their spells they can get, first level is Identify, Searing Smite. Third level they get Heat Metal, Magic Weapon. Fifth, Elemental Weapon, Protection from Energy. Seventh, Fabricate, Wall of Fire. Ninth, Animate Object, and Creation. So there's a little bit, spoiler alert of what it's going to be able to do.
Yeah.
Its bonus proficiency, it once again gets heavy armor, and then it gets smith's tools. Also at first level, it gains the ability to imbue magic into a weapon or armor with Blessing of the Forge. At the end of a long rest, you can touch one non-magical item that is a suit of armor or a simple martial weapon until the end of your next turn, end of your next long rest, or until you die. The object becomes a magic item, granting +1 bonus to AC if it's armor or a +1 bonus to attack and damage if it's a weapon. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. That greatly reminds me of Artificer.
It
Uh,
does. It
very,
does.
very much. So, maybe you can stack two things with those if you have fun. Channel Divinity. Artisan Blessing. Starting at second level, you can create simple items. You construct an hour-long ritual that crafts a non-magical item that must include some metal, a simple or martial weapon, a suit of armor, 10 pieces of ammunition, so on and so forth. The creation is completed at the end of an hour. Then it comes into an unoccupied space of your choice on a surface within 5 feet of you. The thing you create can be something that is worth no more than 100 gold, so, sell if you want to. As part of this ritual, you may lay out metal, which includes coins with the value equal to the creation. The material will, manifest as it is. The ritual can create a duplicate of non-magical items that contain metal such as keys if you possess them during the original ritual.
Hmm.
So that's more of the kind of mix in, but with this, I guess you can make a bunch of non-magical items, something you need two of. Maybe you need more tools. Maybe you need, I don't
Um,
know.
you can make your Swiss Army knife.
That's
It
true.
just has everything on it.
That's true. It's boom. It's done. It's worth 99 gold.
Yeah.
Sell it. It's the other one at 6th level, Soul of the Forge. You gain resistance to fire damage because working with the Forge.
Cool.
And while wearing heavy armor, you get an additional +1 to your AC.
Ooh.
So, yep. Then it has Divine Strike at level 8. You gain the ability to infuse your weapon and strike it with power from the Forge. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can cause the attack to deal 1d8 fire damage, and then that increases to 2d8 fire at level 14.
Cool.
And that is on each of your turns. So that is just always, all right, I'm going to hit you. Here's some more. Here's some more.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's last at 17. Saint of the Forge and Fire. You gain immunity to fire damage.
Okay.
So you want to go fight a dragon by yourself that breathes fire? Sure, go for it.
Red dragons. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all done. While wearing heavy armor, you have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, from non-magical items.
That's awesome.
That's a big resistance there. So that's
Yeah.
why I really liked this guy, because it was like, I liked it with the forge aspect. I mean, I could imagine this being a dwarf
Yeah,
pretty
this
well.
this whole thing screams dwarf.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, obviously, there's tons of other races that, would benefit it, but I mean, you think about it when it comes to D&D, you think about the Forge, you immediately are like, all right, dwarves. Yeah, the dwarves are
Yeah.
it. But I mean, I could also see some orc clans kind of implementing a lot of this stuff
Right.
too, which really,
I think it'd be funny to have a dragonborn play as this.
yeah, but especially if it was one that, hey, it could be like a blue dragonborn, have resistance to
Yeah.
lightning. Later on, it gets resistance to fire. So
Yeah.
I like it.
Have a lot going on.
The next domain I have is found in the Dungeon Master's Guide on page 96. It is the Death Domain. At first level, you gain False Life and Ray of Sickness. Third, Blindness, Deafness, and Ray of Enfeeblement. Uh, Fifth, Animate Dead and Vampiric Touch. Seventh, you get Blight and Death Ward. And ninth, you get Anti-Life Shell and Cloud Kill. Just looking at those spells right there, this is your evil. This is the necromancer kind of cleric, especially with that animate undead. Um, Thematically, this would clearly make a great villain for your party to go up against, but I think, you could spin it as a player character as well. My favorite ability that they gain is Reaper. At first level, the cleric learns one necromancy cantrip of his or her choice from any spell list.
Mm.
When the cleric casts a necromancy cantrip that normally targets only one creature, that spell can instead target two creatures within range and within 5 feet of each other. So once you start throwing out your Toll of the Dead, now you can hit two with this ability.
Yeah. Side question.
Mm-hmm.
I want to bring it up. It says you can take a necromancy spell from any class list.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean you can take the new one from Gravity?
If
Wizard?
if your DM allows it, then yeah. So you just take that and knock them both prone.
Yeah.
Yeah. At level 2, their channel divinity is Touch of Death. Starting at second level, the cleric can use channel divinity to destroy another creature's life force by touch. When the cleric hits a creature with a melee attack, the cleric can use channel divinity to deal extra necrotic damage to the target. The damage equals 5 plus twice his or her cleric level. At level 2, that would be 9 damage, 5 plus 4. So it just goes up from there, capping out at 45 damage. So this really plays into that necromancer kind of thing. It's like, oh, everything I touch dies.
Yeah.
I like it. It really gives that flair of the death domain cleric. At 6th level, you get Inescapable Destruction. The cleric's ability to channel negative energy becomes more potent. Necrotic damage dealt by the character's cleric spells and channel divinity options ignores resistance to necrotic damage.
Wow.
So that just there's some undead, there's some things that are resistant to the necrotic. Nope, you just burn right through that. Level 8, their Divine Strike. The cleric gains the ability to infuse his or her weapon strikes with necrotic energy. Once on each of the cleric's turns, when the cleric hits a creature with a weapon attack, the cleric can cause the attack to deal an extra 1d8 necrotic, increasing to 2d8 at level 14. With this Divine Strike that all the domains get, it just, like we said, it just gives them that extra edge in melee combat. Finally, at 17th level, they get Improved Reaper. When the cleric casts a necromancy spell of 1st through 5th level that targets only one creature, the spell can instead target two creatures within range and within 5 feet of each other. If the spell consumes its material components, the cleric must provide them for each target.
Oh, okay.
So that just like it says, it's improved Reaper. So it
Right.
just your spells that you got, Ray of Sickness, Ray of Enfeeblement, those are all necromancy. So it's awesome.
I just like how it gets two from it,
Yeah,
because most things are like single target, and most single target stuff is like, oh, okay, that's pretty good.
yeah,
But what they could hit more, so
yeah,
that's great.
yeah.
The other one I picked was the Trickster domain. At first level, you get Charm Person and Disguise Self. Third, Mirror Image, Pass Without a Trace. Fifth, Blink, Dispel Magic. Seventh, Dimensional Door and Polymorph. At ninth level, you get Dominate Person and Modify Memory. Starting at level 1, you get Blessing of the Trickster. You can use your action to touch a willing creature other than yourself to give an advantage on stealth checks. The blessing lasts for 1 hour or until you use this feature again.
This is that rogue cleric kind
Yeah,
of crossover.
yeah. I like. I was reading through this. I was like, wow, I like all this weird trick stuff because it's like, they got a little magic to make other little people better.
Hmm.
It has Invoke Duplicity as its channel divinity starting at second level. As an action, you create a perfect illusion of yourself that lasts for 1 minute or until you lose your concentration. The spell appears in an unoccupied space that you can see within 30 feet. As a bonus action, on your turn you can move it. It must remain 120 feet of you. For the duration, you cast spells as though you were in illusion's space, but you must use your own senses. Additionally, when both you and your illusion are within 5 feet of a creature, it gives you advantage on attack rolls because it disorients the creature.
That's cool.
What's funny is I didn't do this on purpose, but this one's just like Fighter Echo. So where it has the illusion that kind of goes.
The cool thing with this is this illusion does give you advantage. It gives you
I know.
advantage. Yeah.
I saw that one. That one's a bit different. I like
Yep.
that. And it can be farther away.
Yep.
Um, the other channel divinity that this gets is Cloak of Shadows. Starting at 6th level, you can use your channel divinity to vanish. As
Ooh,
an action, you become invisible until the end of your next turn. You become visible again if you attack or cast a spell, though.
that's really
But you
cool.
just disappear.
Yeah.
Then it gets its Divine Strike. At 8th level, you gain the ability to infuse your weapon with poison, a gift
Ooh,
from your D&D. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you would cause 1d8 poison damage. Then as the other ones at 14, it goes up to 2d8.
yep.
So the trickster of being poison, kind of fits in pretty well.
Yeah.
You get improved duplicity at level 17. You can create up to 4 duplicates of yourself instead of 1. When you use Invoke Duplicity as a bonus action on a turn, you can move any number of them to 30 feet to a maximum of 120. So you get to move all of them at once.
Oh,
And then you still get the bonuses of if they're close to you and getting advantage. So,
that's that's cool. I want to see a three-man team of Ancestral Barbarian, Trickery Domain Cleric, and the Echo Knight. Would
it's
have
going to be
just so
great.
many different images running around. You know what? Let's throw in Wizard, and they can take a mirror image.
Yeah, and you'll be ready. It'll be like, all right, so we got 4 people down to play. Well, we kind of got 8.
Eh, you know. The last domain I picked is the Arcana domain. It is found in the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide, page 125. This is kind of like the wizard cleric hybrid crossover, similar in a way to the Divine Soul Sorcerer, but they get some different abilities that are pretty cool. Their domain spells are at first level you get Detect Magic and Magic Missile. Third level, Magic Weapon and Nistel's Magic Aura. Fifth level, Dispel Magic and Magic Circle. Seventh, Arcane Eye and Leoman's Secret Chest. Ninth level, you get Planar Binding and Teleportation Circle. All of these, they're not really the blaster kind of wizard spells. They're more like the utility kind of spells, which I think is something that you need, but you don't necessarily have to have. They're really cool and they can do so many different things. Whenever you choose this domain, you get the Arcane Initiate ability. You gain proficiency in the Arcana skill, and you gain 2 cantrips of your choice from the Wizard spell list. These
Okay.
count as Cleric spells. These cantrips count as Cleric cantrips for you. At 2nd level, you get your Channel Divinity, which is Arcane Abjuration. As an action, you present your holy symbol, and one celestial, elemental, fey, or fiend of your choice that's within 30 feet of you must make a wisdom saving throw, provided that they can see or hear you. If the creature fails its throw, it is turned for 1 minute or until it takes any damage. A turn creature must spend its turn trying to move as far away from you as you can, same as with the turn undead ability. If there's nowhere for them to run, they use the dodge action. Once you reach 5th level, you can banish them, similar to the Destroy Undead, but basically it just banishes them back to wherever they're from. It's same as with Destroy Undead. It's based on like challenge rating level.
Right.
At 6th level, you get Spellbreaker. When you restore hit points to an ally with a spell of 1st level or higher, you can also end one spell of your choice on that creature. The level of the spell you end must be equal to or lower than the level of the spell slot that you use to cast a healing spell. So you've gone up against some warlock, he has a hex on one of your friends,
Yeah.
you heal him, and you can remove that. Super helpful. It's kind of like an extra dispel magic in a way.
Right.
At 8th level, they do not get a Divine Strike option, but they get Potent Spell Casting. Whenever you reach level 8, you can add your Wisdom modifier to any damage-dealing Cleric cantrip that you have.
Wow.
So, yeah, it doesn't give you, 2d8 for melee, but with the kind of Cleric this is, you're not going to be in melee. You're going to be on the back lines. Finally, at level 17, you get Arcane Mastery. Choose 4 spells from the Wizard spell list, 1 from each of the following levels, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. You add them to your list as domain spells. Like your other domain spells, they are always prepared for you and count as Cleric spells.
Nice.
So this will give you a little more range in your known spells. Like with the domain spells, they are always prepared for you. I'm not sure that we mentioned that earlier.
Right.
Like we said in our magic items video designed around the cleric, anything that'll give you more spells as a spellcaster is going to help you in the long run.
Yeah.
If you want to see that video, you can click the link right up here. So I think overall, Cleric is one of those iconic classes of Dungeons and Dragons. Like you said, Mackenzie, they stereotypically are seen as the healer, but as we've gone over some of these domains, like there's so much more that they can do.
There's been a lot of change, more so with the D&D, at least in this edition, where it's not just like, you're this, okay. Yeah, it gives you that option to change them up a lot and do a lot of different things with them, which, based on your preference, good or bad, but I like it pretty well. I mean, it's cool to be able to play a guy that can heal a little bit, but you want him to be more of a spell smash type guy.
Yeah.
And we have a couple of those mixes with the clerics.
Yep. In the campaign that we just started that Chris is running, Dave plays a war cleric. So he's not, sticking behind on the back line. Yeah. He's running up in melee with Tommy and myself, Tommy being a paladin, me being a fighter, while you're the artificer, you're the one sitting in the back blasting everybody. So depending on which domain you do, there's so many different options that you get, and you can really make the class so different. And that's one of the reasons I like Cleric, is just because there's so much there's so much customizing you can do. This has been our quick overview of the Cleric class. If you enjoyed the video, give us a like. Leave us a comment down below in your favorite Cleric domain. Let us know what you like about it. If you never want to miss a video from us, hit the subscribe button and ring the little bell to always get our notifications. And until next time, keep the dice rolling.
Searing smite, sorry.
Smearing smite.
Smearing smite.
I like smearing smite.
Thanks.